Andy, how are you, man?
Hey, doing good, Dennis. Great to see you.
Good to see you again.
Welcome to Akamai.
Thank you. You said you've been here almost 18 years.
Yep.
And you came in as a
Senior security engineer.
which, sounds senior, but now you're the CSO. How long have you had the CSO job?
So I came in as a senior security engineer. I'd been doing information warfare for the Air Force. So I get here and I've been given two simultaneous jobs. One is compliance. We have an auditor literally showing up the next week. So I have to learn all about British Standard 7799. At the same time, my boss had said, hey, we have no idea how safe our machines are.
Oh, no.
As our primary NOC running 24/7, we also have NOCs in Bangalore and in Krakow.
Okay.
And then we have sort of a secondary NOC that's running out of our Santa Clara office. We try to do sort of somewhat of a follow the sun model, so we don't have too many people working a graveyard shift in their time zones.
Right.
So a little bit more work gets done here during U.S. business hours, then it'll flip over to Bangalore, then it'll flip over to Krakow, and then back to here.
And I would imagine that just the general awareness of security and its importance in the company has probably grown over your time, like it has for every organization. Yep. But how much more aware is everybody inside the company about the importance of security, not only to the company but to the outside world as well?
I think significantly. So it's hard to quantify. I remember when we first tried to go into the DDoS mitigation business.
Yeah.
Because we've been in it from day one. People have always bought us for that. But when we tried to sell it specifically for that, it was 2004, and I get up on stage at our sales kickoff as the product manager. That was part of my job, was all of a sudden I'm the product manager for this new product. But when Anonymous showed up and Operation Payback happens, all of a sudden everybody wants to buy this product. It's like the dust on the shelf.
Right.
Great, we'll wipe the dust off, we'll sell it. And that was really this big driver as a security business.
What do you think of as the most challenging part of your role? Is it that idea of getting people to get comfortable with the idea of change, or is there some other piece of it?
The biggest challenge was how do you pick which things? Because there is plenty of good work to be done. And so one of the things that we often now do with our partners in the business is we'll come to them and we'll say, hey, you've got 50 problems. You can't work on all 50 problems. And look, that's a legitimate. If you had 0 problems, you were over-investing in security.
And that's probably a big part of what they're coming to you for, I would imagine, is kind of that security mindset and that experience and being able to say, listen, yes, these things are important, but these other things probably more important to you guys right now.
Yeah, so it helps when we bring to it from there, that we come to them and say, here's the security perspective, but we've tried to look at it from yours. So this is sort of the high level view of our network. We always like to just start with, give people a perspective of 1,600 networks. Our peak daily usage was 61 terabits per second. That was set on September 12th this year. That was on a different day. So here's what I always find interesting, which is that our peak request rate was actually 3 years earlier, was 57 million requests per second. So our request rate and our bit rate peaks very rarely line up. Total bytes delivered in a day. That's this long-term streaming media event.
Sure.
Given when it is in April, that might be something like a soccer or golf tournament. Lifetime is where we have to do the math, right? So it's terabits, petabits, exabits. So 911 exabits, total bits delivered since Akamai's been around. My favorite statistic, we've saved about 102 billion hours.
How do you
just
calculate
by being faster.
that?
We look at the time differential between when we deliver it versus when our origins would have been able to deliver it. Because part of our value proposition is we can say to a customer, hey, we delivered this traffic 50 milliseconds faster than you could have. Multiply that across all of the bits delivered, and we can say, oh, here's how much faster all these web pages loaded for all of our customers. Okay. Now, odds are that 102 billion hours went to watching cat videos.
Sure.
So it's not like we had a huge efficiency, on the market, but we made people happier.
The first things you think about every morning when you wake up?
So the first thing is actually getting my kids out of bed.
That's tough.
I hear everybody talks about their kids are like their alarm clock, and I'm like, no, I'm the kid's alarm clock.
Same.
As a chief security officer, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you're thinking about is your company's risk, there's a good chance you're burning yourself out and you're doing it wrong.
All right, so maybe lastly, what are maybe the 2 or 3 things that you'd really love to do, whether they're inside the company with customers or whatever, that you just haven't had time for yet because you have 8 million other things?
So one problem we have is every school wants to produce security professionals, and the biggest piece of advice I often give is say, look, when you come out of school with a bachelor's degree, there's very few bachelor's degrees that actually qualify you to do anything in the workforce. You're going to learn more as you go along. And that one actually I think is more about how we have, as businesses, we have taught our recruiting departments to look for candidates.
Yeah.
So you say, oh, you have to have a college degree in computer science. Well, in the security field, why do you need a college degree in computer science?
Yeah.
I employ people with degrees in library information sciences, because what is compliance other than being a reference librarian for controls information? Right?
Yeah.
So figuring out how do we go and find people from non-CS backgrounds and write job descriptions that will appeal to them, because I think the jobs are appealing, that at the same time don't winnow out our pool and create weird gender skew and racial demographic skew, because we say, oh, you have to have 10 years of experience in Windows 10, but we only want to pay you, a 10th of what you're worth anyway. Well, if we're going to pay you a 10th of what you're worth, why don't we hire people fresh out of college and teach them?
Yeah.
And that's really been a little bit more of what we do is how do we retrain people over who want to move back into security, or how do we bring people sort of up in this world?
Awesome. So
Okay.
Andy, thanks so much for your time, man.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate it. That was great.